Welcome back to another episode of Tech for Thought, where we break down the latest AI media and tech news. Last episode, we explored how AI is reshaping finance, some fraud detection stuff that RBC was doing, and then Gen Z's comfort with just robo investing in general. But today, we're kind of switching gears, talking more about ethics. Saab, you mentioned a little bit earlier that it's more of an ongoing thing. Like things are just coming up, and I thought that was interesting. Also, Apple just dropped the new research paper, "The Illusion of Thinking." This was my first time seeing it, so it was super cool hearing like your thoughts and what you guys had to say. I didn't realize that it got that deep. I thought that it was it's just pattern recognition from what I understand, but we'll talk about it more later. And then also Hollywood's new deal on AI actors. We'll see if we can get to that. And then Meta's rollout of AI content labels. Super cool stuff. But first, we'll kick it off with what everybody's been talking about. VO3. Is that how you pronounce it? VO? I heard you saying.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. But we're going to come up with a prompt here. We're going to test Sora, and then we're going to test Google, their VO3. And they revealed it at this. They just it's so how it works is you put in a prompt basically of whatever. We kind of tested it a little bit with what we did previously. I think you've been playing around with it too, Sahib, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
been
But
pretty cool. I mean, people have also posted a lot of videos on like Instagram and stuff of like like Yetis, the Abominable Snowman, just like
yeah, yeah,
having
yeah.
like a 3D selfie stick and stuff.
Or like, have you guys seen
I
that
did
like
see that, yeah.
the Sasquatch the Sasquatch vlogs? It's this, I don't know, they do something where like they have a Sasquatch and he's going through like a day of vlogs or
Yeah.
something. And he's like vlogging for like day one, day two.
Someone
But
made a whole series of the over a couple weeks or days or something of one gorilla versus 100 men, and it's in the perspective of the gorilla.
oh yeah, I think I saw that actually. Yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about. But yeah, it's super cool stuff. I mean, I think like it has just come such a long way from the Will Smith eating spaghetti AI video. You guys remember that? That like the first video to like what it's now. I mean,
How long
it
ago was that? That was like not even a year ago, right?
the Will Smith
The Will
Yeah,
uh
not
Smith
sure. I
spaghetti?
don't remember.
It wasn't that long ago. I know it was within the last 2 years.
Definitely, yeah,
yeah,
definitely within the last 2 years, but it's pretty funny.
I'm looking it up right
Just
now.
the level of progression, the speed of progression.
For sure. Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Reddit stable diffusion using model scopes text to video tool. Yeah, 2023.
Okay, two
So,
years ago. That's not
yeah,
bad.
I mean, that's insane to
Hmm.
think like that it's able to produce these HD videos now from just text prompts and it understands like the movement. You can see that it's still got some kinks to be worked out, but
Yeah,
it's
for
definitely
sure.
cool. Definitely like I don't know if you guys have used Sora before, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
few
like
times.
they're directly competing. I mean, but I think Vio, I don't even know. But we're just gonna test it out, I guess. We'll come up with a prompt.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
think Sora does sound, I don't think. I think Veo's the only one that does sound. I don't know. I don't remember. Maybe Sora's like super $200 a month version does sound, but
yeah,
at least from my things, I don't think I heard Sora make sounds. We'll see.
Mm.
We'll see in our live demo here.
yeah. All right, let's try it out. We'll open up Sora and Veo 3, and then we'll see which one. We'll come up with a prompt live, I guess, right on the spot.
Right. Yeah.
Um, and then we'll open it. I want to pull that up.
Yeah. That's good. Okay. So what do we want our video generators to generate?
Um, Maybe like we could do a school bus driving in like suburban neighborhood or something.
Yeah, we can do that.
It's actually not a bad idea. Yeah, that's a good one.
And
Oops.
then
Lots.
like a scenic route or something. See how
Or
well
like
it
just driving
can
through your neighborhood with like see what its take on what is this, American suburbia.
or
Right.
something. Let's see.
Let's see here. Suburban neighborhood. Um,
Yeah.
with children
I
on
wonder
board.
how like
Yeah. Like that, or
Yeah, let's
yeah,
see
I
it.
think that should be good.
and then let's just copy this so that we can paste the same thing in Gemini. Let's just do realistic. Let's copy this. Okay, and then let's send it. See what it
And of
does.
course, you can get much more detailed with prompts as well.
Yeah.
Right, for sure.
You were
Much
mentioning
more detailed.
But I like
that
leaving it kind of open-ended here to see kind of its interpretation.
Right,
yeah, that's a
exactly.
good idea.
Then we can post the same thing in Gemini just so that it can
Yeah,
produce stuff while we wait.
putting that new GPU to work right now, huh?
Oh yeah, it's clocking in
I
at
don't
overtime.
think it's my GPU since it's cloud based. It's
Fair enough, fair enough.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You have a diluted model.
Let's see here. Okay, so it's almost done. Let's see what it does. I love how it calls it idyllic school commute. Oh, interesting. Let's see.
Okay.
Just white picket fences and all the houses look the same.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh
The bus
wow.
just flips around. It doesn't even say school bus.
It's what does it
Eh,
say?
And
Wait.
it switches the school bus
Yeah.
version from the
Does
flat
it?
face to the
Oh
engine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna run into those people.
Oh, it's driving backwards.
Yeah, it doesn't even have a front.
So,
I mean,
well, there's two types of buses. There's the flat face bus, which has the engine in the back, and it's just an elongated bus. And
uh
then you have this version where the engine is actually in the front.
Yeah.
oh wow.
I love that
Yeah.
every house is like the exact same.
Right, cookie cutter, just like this is suburbia. And then you
Copy
just have
paste.
the ladies just walking in the street.
It
I
looks
was like,
like how
what?
they would draw up suburban United States back in like 1950.
Right.
They got some cracks though. They got some cracks there on the road. A little bit of texture.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, there's this one too. Okay.
I love how she just walks through the through the fence and then the dog
Yeah.
just spawns.
Yeah.
Oh
That's
yeah, and it looks
crazy.
like she has a stroller and a dog. Like
Yeah, they phase through.
Bias. I love how the school bus is bias.
bias.
School bias.
It's model bias,
School
guys.
bus.
Model bias.
School bus 68 BWS.
That's actually crazy that it says bias on it.
Yeah, that's a little crazy here.
It's still
Yeah.
impressive, like the shadows actually kind of
Yeah.
matte. Like if you look at the
Yeah.
shadows, like the lighting is pretty consistent to some degree.
Yeah, it's crazy because like you can kind of see how like it looks like the sun is coming from that way, so
Yeah.
the shadows make sense, but this tree shadow does not make that much sense.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean it's does fairly well. I mean, it just
Yeah,
obviously it's 480p generation, so it's not going to be the
it does.
crispest.
It is interesting because look at this. Like you do see the cracks in the road, and then there's like debris in the edges of the road, and then you have like this
Right.
crack where the concrete meets the road up here.
Yeah. It's very interesting. Hmm. Okay, let's see what our buddy Gemini has cooked up.
Let's see.
Okay, okay.
All
It's
right.
pretty similar. Oh wow. The bus
Damn.
is a lot better
Wow,
quality.
this is a lot better.
Oh wow. Yeah,
Oh
Oh,
my
this is a
God.
that's
lot better.
night and day.
Can
That
you
is
expand it?
I don't think it lets me could
You
download it.
could
Let's see.
download it. Let's see. It looks like just from the preview,
That is a
so
hundred times
clean.
better. Does it look like
That
it
is
has like yard decorations in one of those? Like right
uh
there? What does that
I
look?
think those are the mirrors of the bus or the lights, but They're supposed to be mirrors.
Yeah.
Oh, I see, I see, I see.
Yeah.
The mirrors, yeah. Okay.
Let's see here.
Dude, yeah, this is a lot better.
Yeah. That's that's like night and day for sure.
Yeah, because I mean, kids getting off, you don't see anything crazy on the kids.
Yeah.
You like look at them in the window. They're moving
Oh,
around in the bus. Like if you look in
yeah.
the bus there, they're moving around
You
and you
could
can
see his
see like
hand
the
like phase into
yeah.
the door, but it can get but this is just like insane how good Veo 3 is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys
Because
think
look,
that
watch this third kid. You can literally watch him from the bus walking down the row and then like see the kids coming through, fourth kid, I guess.
Yeah,
Like
that's a little crazy.
yeah.
it has that level of knowledge to have like them actually walking through the bus and then off.
Mm. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like,
Hmm.
Google has access to literally every YouTube video that was ever created. So,
Yeah.
Oh wow,
Well, and
well, true,
also
yeah.
I feel like something interesting here is you see how like highlighted the stop sign is? It's like reflecting the headlights of the bus right there.
Uh-huh.
yeah, true. It's pretty good. Very good.
That's insane. Do you
That's
think there's
impressive.
gonna be like a VO aesthetic or like on media, like on social media, there's gonna be a lot of content creators that specifically use like videos to post on Instagram and stuff?
I mean, I think that's already a thing. I mean, there's people been, I mean, but that's more of kind of like a gimmick where they've put videos together, and they've kind of made it like vlogging videos. Like I said earlier about the Sasquatch and the one gorilla versus 100 men type thing.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, yeah, I mean, I think eventually we're gonna be seeing once these models get a bit better and can handle better and have better context of what they've already generated because obviously Veo right now can only generate what 8 seconds. But
Hmm.
yeah, I think eventually we're just gonna be seeing just cool AI generated stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this is, yeah, I definitely think this is substantially better than Sora.
Yeah, like it's definitely
Go
night and
back and
day.
watch this.
How do you guys see this working out for like professional filmmaking or music videos? Do you
I think
think
for now
that
it's
people are
mostly
gonna
just
use
going to
it?
be like content creators, like you said, like they've got people doing, little blog videos or vlog videos rather, and stuff like that. I think that's kind of where it's at right now. I don't think it'll actually get to anything that crazy for a while,
Yeah.
personally.
It's gonna be like those AI evangelists just constantly creating videos. So be like, oh my God, look
Mhm.
how cool it is. And then obviously you're gonna have like Quen and stuff from China come out with another crazy video and they're gonna be like, yeah, we did this in $1 million. I'm like, no, you did not.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy how far it's even come. Like we just saw Sora, that was what everybody, Dali, Stable Diffusion. There's so many, but this just like is blowing it out of the water.
Yeah, pretty cool for sure.
I think it's probably Google's most impressive like entry in the AI world right now. Because Gemini is good, but I don't think I would prefer Gemini over like ChatGPT, OpenAI type thing.
I don't know. I
Um,
mean, I've tested a lot with Gemini and the newer version of the models are like really good. Like I've done it for helping me quote unquote vibe code or like
Uh,
help me. So I use it to kind of create the scaffolding of my code. So I
mhm.
don't need to create that, and then I just code within that scaffolding. And I've used its deep research a lot, and it's really good. I think people are sleeping on Google for sure.
Mm.
yeah.
And because they just haven't used it enough or something. And obviously ChatGPT is more out there. It's been out there for a while. But I think people should at least try out Gemini. Um, at least the newer versions as well, like 2.5 Pro. It's not like
Yeah.
ChatGPT where it's like $200. Like it's pretty much unlimited and it's only 20 bucks or so. But um
So the reason that I didn't use Gemini, I didn't like Gemini, their earlier version, was there was a release that showed the level of bias for different models,
Hmm.
and Gemini was the most biased on multiple aspects.
Gotcha.
Um, and that's why I wasn't big on it. I don't know where it stands now. Um, but as far as like utilization and stuff, like your typical day to day, I mean, yeah, that's interesting. You're right. Like I've used mostly other models. I haven't kind of gone back to Gemini since they've released the new models,
Yeah,
How
it's
does it
pretty
rank?
good.
How
the
does it
new
rank
version.
in terms of like reasoning with other models? Is it
I haven't
like
really checked that, but I mean, from all the testing I've done, I think it's pretty good. Like
yeah.
I've gone to ChatGPT, ask it a few questions, and it really couldn't solve the answer. Which then I went to Gemini, and it could solve it for me. Though that might be because I was using outputs from both and kind of just like taking the best parts of them, maybe.
Mhm.
That could have been it, but I mean, that's I guess that's also one thing that Perplexity does well because with Perplexity, you can access like multiple different models, and you can kind of use like the best of both worlds, this type thing, where you can like
Oh wow.
query multiple models. But I just do that manually.
Wait,
I like
so
Essentially.
it, honestly. I think a lot of people could. I think whenever I started using Perplexity a little bit, I was very impressed by a lot of its features, honestly.
Hmm.
Um, so, well, here I have a question for you though.
Yeah.
What do you mentioned that you're doing deep research. You're using the deep research. What do
Hmm.
you leverage deep research for on these models?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just like obviously I'm a consultant, so if I'm going into kind of like a new client meeting and I want to know more about the client, I basically to just tell it, hey, create a brief of this company for me so that I can better tailor my responses to the client's needs, et cetera, et cetera. Just like in these initial calls, obviously I don't know what every single company does, so I kind of use it as like my initial point of rather than me having to do the research myself, I just have it go do the deep research in the background, create like a kind of summary report for me, kind of portfolio of this company, and then that way, when I'm going to the meeting, I actually know what the company does.
So could you
mhm.
break down kind of what the general purpose of deep research is then for your everyday user?
Yeah, I mean, so essentially what it does is rather than you constantly going to Google typing in like how much revenue does this company generate? What are the services this company offers, et cetera, et cetera. You can basically just create a prompt that says, hey, I'm going into this meeting with a client with a new client. I'm a consultant, et cetera, et cetera. Could you please generate a brief or portfolio type summary slash report of this company that I can then reference and read and stuff before I go into this client meeting? And so then what it does is it basically scours the internet, looks at multiple links, and essentially reads all those links and then creates a pretty well thought out report of these companies and things like that. And you can use it for pretty much anything. Like, um, I don't know, help me plan a birthday party using, uh, I don't know, using today's most um search topics or something or something like
Yeah.
that. Search
Yeah,
Like a
yeah,
themes.
yeah.
theme, yeah.
So
And you
it
can
can like compile a bunch of data that's maybe harder to analyze or like it says like deeper in like to view a company's performance you'd have to go look at their balance sheets and stuff like that, and sometimes it's hard for us to find where that's at and stuff like that, so it's just able to go in and get that for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like time consuming. Like it probably takes Gemini, depending on how in depth the report is, et cetera, and how in depth you want it to go. Uh, it probably takes anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, and that's crazy because it would take us like hours, maybe
Mm.
even
Yeah.
a few days to scour all these websites, actually summarize them into a well thought out report that we could understand. So, um,
Yeah,
Definitely pretty
Gemini is
good.
great. Gemini is awesome, especially just using it to search Google search for something. They have that dive deeper into AI mode. If you guys
Hmm.
use that, and
Yeah.
that's awesome
Though
too.
though it's weird because I think that search version kind of just has like a has more hallucinations than the actual Gemini
Yes,
version.
it
I don't
does.
know. I don't know if it's using the best model, maybe because I'm using like Gemini 2.5 Pro. I've seen less hallucinations than the Google Chrome version or the Google search version. Um, but yeah, that search functionality definitely has lots of lots of hallucinations. Like I remember I asked it, give me a 5 letter word for a lighting fixture, and it said, sure, chandelier. I'm like,
Huh.
that's not 5 letters. Sure, it's a lighting fixture, but it's not 5 letters.
Well, I noticed it because recently Shay and I were researching some stuff and we're reading on it, and I see the AI overview at the top, and then literally just below where they do, like the websites, you know how whenever you're about to click a link for a website, it kind of has the little summary of it down below it.
Yep.
Before I even open the website, I can see in this like actual scholarly website that it says the complete opposite thing of what the Gemini search is saying. And so I was like, or Google search is saying.
Yeah.
So I've definitely seen that a couple times now where I'm like, I like the idea of having that Google search AI overview, but if it's something important that I really care about, then I'm not really going to take that into account. I'm going to have to go read the articles and do the work myself because it's not super
Right.
reliable,
Right.
Mhm.
which you should be doing in general. But I mean, just like as a quick overview, you can't take it.
Yeah. True.
But wrapping kind of back to the video stuff, I think an interesting point we could bring up here is the Instagram and
Oh yeah.
meta
Yep.
tagging.
Yeah.
So we kind of recently, I'm not super all over social media, right?
Hmm.
But I went to post something on Instagram and I saw that they have this toggle on there to tag your video or your post as an AI post, an AI video.
Hmm.
And so it kind of got me researching and reading on some things. So there's this coalition that a lot of major tech companies are operating by for their AI detection. So it's Coalition for Content Provenance and Authenticity, and it's basically a standard that is embedding certain metadata into an AI generated content. So software like Dolly or Veo 3, all of these, advanced AI video generators or anything like that, they're actually embedding metadata so that when one of these, you go to post it on YouTube or Instagram or anything like that, it's able to detect that it's AI and AI generated, and it requires you to tag it. And if you didn't tag it and it detects that it's AI generated, it
Yep.
will auto tag it for you, and you'll get like a strike or whatever. So
Oh
if
wow.
Oh.
you and if it some of them will go into review. So if it's especially as we're trying to avoid deep fakes and stuff like that, so if they
Uh-huh.
find that you're trying to basically shovel a load of crap and use someone's face for it, then they will actually take it down and basically like ban your account for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Uh, and label your account as a potentially misleading account. So,
Oh. I like that.
uh, yeah, so it's really nice, and I like that these big companies are coming up with this. Um, Something that I've seen is that even though these are like the larger companies are doing this, there are, and that's the larger companies for social media that are putting this in to detect it, and a lot of these larger companies for generating the content are inserting the metadata.
Mm-hmm.
But
Hmm.
the problem is that there are these websites that aren't, legitimate, where they still leverage these models, and people
Gotcha.
can generate content from it where the metadata, it doesn't exist in it.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of worry about, if someone really wants to do a deep fake without it being detected, could they still do it to these smaller little kind of, I'm not really sure what you would call them, but they're like these little small online, not companies, but websites, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
run by people. Would it be like, how much power are they able to use? How much are they able to leverage, these bigger models?
Right.
How are these bigger models able to combat that?
Hmm.
So I just like the direction we're going. I think, we always talk about ethics and how we can be really scared about deep fakes, and like we're looking at Veo and stuff like that, and it's really impressive and cool, and we can generate all kinds of really neat things. There's also the scary side, and I think that's with anything in technology. There's the good side that people are wanting to use, and it's a tool. There's also the people that are going to leverage it for bad things. But I
Hmm.
like
Yep.
that early on, companies are taking it into their own hands and deciding, okay, well, we don't want this to be a problem. And I think in the past, this has been more of a government thing. They've developed laws and regulations around certain things, and that's what it's taken. But I think it's very interesting that we're seeing social governance from these companies early on. They're not trying to, it doesn't seem like they're trying to take advantage of slow bureaucracy. It seems like
Yeah.
they're just getting on top of it now. And some of it may have to do with the fact that they've all dealt with massive lawsuits because they did that originally.
Hmm.
Um, and eventually they know bureaucracy is going to catch up. People nowadays it's more accessible for them to spread this knowledge of malpractice. And I know we've
Uh-huh.
talked about that as well. So I think it's interesting that these companies are staying on top of it early. Um, And I always wondered how they would combat it. So it's very smart to just be embedding metadata that can be detected by these companies. And I think more companies will be joining this coalition. And it's always good to have, um, you know, this thing that all these companies agree on. So
Yeah, I didn't know what metadata means. What do you know what that means? Or because I'm not too sure, like what that like they're using metadata to detect these posts.
Yep. So essentially, metadata is basically information that is coded into the actual file.
Hmm.
So it'll be like something like date was created, the device that whatever is recorded on, or the image that was taken on. Kind of like when a photographer takes a photo. If you've ever gotten photos from a photographer, and you open it on your computer, you'll see on like Windows, and I don't really use Mac a lot, but you'll see like there's actually metadata of like when it was created. It would be like Canon EOS R6 camera, and it'll have just like a bunch of information that's encoded into the actual image that people can look at. That's
Yeah.
pretty much the same thing as what these companies are doing
Hmm.
with these AI generative videos. Is they're basically just encoding into the actual data file information like AI generated stuff like that.
I see. Okay, because I thought it was more of like, oh, we generated this picture and we're now
Hmm.
using it for our business to gain a profit. There's a like I thought it was gonna be like maybe something in the image that told it that it was AI or because I didn't know how that worked. They're putting like watermarks on it now, right? I don't know if you have you guys seen put a
Um, yeah,
or
like Samsung, when you edit a video, or when you edit a photo, and use the Samsung AI features, in the bottom left corner, it says AI generated content watermark.
Mhm.
So,
So think of that for metadata though. It's like automatic. Like if you go to your photos in your phone and you open up, you hit the information on it, it can, if you have
details.
like location enabled or anything like that, it'll have the
Mhm.
location, the time, if there's there's something where you can have the like facial recognition, so it can in the metadata it'll insert, who it tagged in the picture. So you can actually go check it on your phone even, and that is what we consider metadata.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay. I did not know that.
I think it's definitely needed, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I recently saw a
Yeah.
video of everybody knows this guy. He's a very bad person, but I saw of Bin Laden singing Firework by Katy Perry. And it's like staged as like he's like in this like dark like bunker or whatever.
That sounds like a TikTok reel or an Instagram reel or something.
And it was like crazy because people in the comments were like, "Is this real? Is this real?" Et cetera, et cetera. And they were like, and people were saying like, "Yeah, it has to be real because Bin Laden, people don't know, actually his family was rich and he studied, like at school in Western
Oh,
countries." And they were like, "Yeah," and they were like bringing in actual facts, like when SEAL Team 6 or whatever, whoever.
uh,
Uh, did the operation to take him out, they
oh,
essentially found like caches of like video games and stuff, and they
yeah.
found like discs labeled Italian Plumber, and it was just Super Mario. So
Wow.
but yeah, after some research,
Oh,
you could see that it was actually a fake video, but
yeah.
like people were being fooled by it, which is crazy.
Uh-huh. I mean, that's the best place to do it, Facebook, because on Facebook everybody talks, and it's just like because it's a much older demographic typically, I'd say, or more seasoned,
Well,
more
this was
you
actually
know.
Instagram, so
Oh, it was Instagram. Okay, well,
yeah.
yeah, people on Instagram usually just say what they want. So
I think that's just social media. I think we can all agree people on social media just have the,
I feel like
the people that
Instagram
are
though,
bad
it's
commenting on
definitely
social media are always a certain kind of people.
For sure. Yeah. But yeah, it's still pretty crazy. Like you could see bad actors like creating videos for and kind of trying to create videos to like change history or something in the future, and just
yeah.
crazy.
Some of them are cool though, like the Sasquatch vlogging. That one was really cool.
Yeah, I like the ones that are more for entertainment purposes, and you
Yeah,
actually know that sure it's you're there's no actual Sasquatch that's vlogging, but it
yeah,
looks so realistic.
uh,
But you like know that it's fake. I don't like
yeah,
the
Hmm.
videos that are purposely generated and there's like nothing on the video that says it's AI generated. Somebody's just
yeah.
posting the video, and then Reddit and other communities are making it viral, and then people are getting confused if it's real or not. It's just not cool.
So then, if this content authenticity, like, would it in an ideal world, would that content, like the Sasquatch vlogging, do you think that there will still be a platform for content specifically AI generated? Will like be like that? Like for Sasquatch vlogging, will there be like some I guess another platform for just AI content, or do you think that the content authenticity that the coalition it was doing will like end AI content in general? Do you think there'll still be entertaining? Like, do you guys know what I'm
Yeah,
trying to say?
Yeah, man. I
yeah.
don't think they're gonna cancel it, but
No, yeah. All it's gonna do is keep people, all these
honest.
these bad actors in check. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I don't think the watermark thing is kind of an interesting point because people know how to get rid of watermarks. They've been doing it for decades, or
Hmm.
a decade, I guess. I don't know. But the you
One
can get rid
decade.
of watermarks pretty easily. So I think
Oh, how
the
do you know this, Chris?
metadata.
Yeah, how do you know this?
Look, I used a free editing software when I was like 17. All right, I had to get rid of the watermark.
Yeah,
Um, I just think that the metadata approach is a lot better because it's not so easy for people to cover up or anything like that. I mean, like you can literally, Google has this thing where you can, you know, cover a part of a picture and it just kind of generates the gap. That's like super easy to use to cover up a watermark. And if you know
yeah.
much about video editing, anybody that knows a middle amount of video editing, they're gonna know how to do it super easily. All you got to do is plug certain things in. So I think the metadata approach is going to be much smarter, much more difficult to get around. And
Yeah,
as it evolves.
Mhm.
where they actually need to start doing metadata stuff is because it's getting scary.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Cloned voices.
Oh,
Huh?
Cloned
clone.
voices.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Um,
Like
yeah,
those things are getting scary good. Like,
yeah, I know.
and there's no like watermark you can put on a on a sound
Well,
bite.
you could do like maybe this voice is generated from whatever AI,
Yeah,
and then
I
go
People would
guess.
just
into
snip
like
that
an
out.
automated message. That's the only thing I could think of. But
People would just snip it out. I think they at some
yeah,
point they're gonna have to run something in that. Yeah, that is a hard one because I feel like you'd have to have a record of someone's voice and then within the metadata have something that recognizes it's someone else's voice, but that's impossible. There's no way. So that's a
Hmm. Yeah,
or
it's
like you start
that's
paying
where
for it.
if it's
I
on
don't
a
know.
video or something, you have the metadata that states that the audio was generated by AI.
yeah. I mean, it's because the way they work is because is they take high fidelity audio and you upload that, and then the AI analyzes the different wave patterns, et cetera, and then essentially on the fly generates those wave patterns the way that the person would talk, mannerisms, et cetera. And it's just like it's insane.
Yeah, I've seen a
That's
lot of
what you
people
call
doing Drake impressions. Like they'll do it in Drake voice.
Yeah, and they do like I've seen videos of people taking songs and then putting different characters as the one singing, and they have like
mm,
the characters pop up on screen just to like show, and you're like, wow, I didn't know SpongeBob could sing. I don't know, call me on this on my cell phone or whatever.
Can we do you have one of those videos? Do you know where you can find them? Because I've never seen like anything
I mean, it would
with
probably
voice
take me a
overs.
second to find it, so
Yeah, I was just curious. I don't
sure
know.
you could just search like
Yeah.
SpongeBob singing some song or something, and you'll find something like it.
I definitely think the bigger problem is when it comes down to like political stuff,
Yeah,
whenever
political
people are,
or hard facts or something.
yeah, like professors, people that have a lot of people listening.
Though it's weird. I think nowadays there's kind of been like this thing of a pushback against academia, and
Yeah.
just like people saying like, no, this is not real, but like there's actual articles and evidence and peer reviews that go into these articles and facts and things like that.
Well,
And
people are nowadays, I always talk about this of like people are more likely to trust a 10-second video they saw on TikTok or social media instead
yeah,
of actually doing the reading themselves,
yeah,
which is
true.
why people are so easily taken advantage of on these platforms and
Yeah,
so easily manipulated. And they think that they're like rebelling against something that's controlling their world or whatever, but like you're literally just playing into somebody's hands that want followers and views and to feel
it's
empowered by people basically letting them BS them.
Yeah, it's definitely a big
So
thing in the fitness industry for sure. And like all these
yeah,
people saying like, "Oh, this is not safe for you to consume." And like there's like hundreds of articles peer reviewed like periodicals saying like the opposite. And people are just like, "No, it's amazing." Like the whole raw
yeah,
milk craze. Like
yeah,
people like, "Oh, I've drunk it and I haven't gotten sick from it." I mean, there's hundreds of articles saying that you definitely need to pasteurize your milk. It's
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's because people are like, oh, they're trying to, over process everything and we're this and we're that. And they just don't do research themselves is all it is because it would, I don't know. And also some people just like the drama more. I know someone that, they're like very drama enthused. And so whenever I would, kind of counter them with actual facts, they just straight up be like, well, that's no fun. That's boring. And it's like, some people just like it because it's dramatic. Like, oh
Mm.
yeah, the government's trying to put us down. We're like the French back in the day. We're gonna revolt and all this stuff. And it's like,
Uh,
dude, that's literally not what's happening right now.
yeah.
Please
Bring
read
back the
something.
guillotines.
Bring
People are
back the
just bored.
guillotines.
People are bored. They want
Yeah.
something interesting to be happening, and stability is apparently boring.
Yep.
So
I
during
guess.
stable times, they want to find something and, be whatever about it. And when they hear something that really tickles their fancy, they'll be happy to hop on that train. So it's
Yeah.
always existed. It's just now that social media is a thing, it exists nationwide versus, before it was like, oh, we have the drama people of the town. Now we have the drama people of the country, and it's a lot bigger.
Hmm. Yeah. Yep. You got to tickle that fancy.
Yes. Tickle all the fancy.
Oh God.
But so we Saab, you shared a really cool article earlier. Apple released or published The Illusion of Thinking, which is a relatively new take on AI reasoning. But just explaining, this is the first time seeing it, so I think from my understanding,
Hmm.
it's exploring how large language models may appear intelligent without like reasoning capabilities. The paper challenges assumptions about thinking and proposes new evaluation methods to better measure actual understanding. Um, yeah,
Hmm.
you were saying some really cool stuff about it.
Yeah, so essentially it's an article that discusses how these reasoning models aren't actually reasoning models, and how they were just these models actually don't reason, they just regurgitate patterns. So essentially what they did was they essentially use classic logic puzzles like the Tower of Hanoi and River Crossing, which are designed to scale in difficulty and avoid shortcuts, or training data leakage. So essentially at low difficulty, basic models outperform the actual reasoning models because the reasoning models just kind of overcomplicated things like their chain of thought that was coded into them. And then at mid-level complexity, structured reasoning helped a bit, but at high complexity, it just all collapsed. Like they created these like reasoning obstacle courses, and these models just kind of hit a wall. And
Hmm.
I mean, it's a pretty fascinating discovery, and I kind of had an inkling that these models weren't actually reasoning.
No.
Um, and and I just think it was like it's like people hyping these models up, trying to sell them because they know that currently the ROI for these AI models just isn't there, and they needed
Hmm.
something to kind of like get people to like pay for these models and pay for their increased subscription costs of these reasoning models. And yeah, it's pretty crazy how basically how today's reasoning models may act like they're reasoning, but they're really just like quote unquote pattern parrots or whatever, and they're not actual problem solvers.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's crazy. What are you guys' thoughts?
Do you think these AI products that are coming out, like, or these new models, should be required to pass a test like this, like the Tower of Hanoi, or I don't know, the other one that you mentioned,
Yeah.
b before release? Do you think they should do that?
I mean, to be honest, like I think that a lot of these reasoning models and companies kind of just like take the data sets that these models are supposed to be evaluated on and just use that to train the models. So I think that if something like this comes out, these companies are just gonna like plan these like data
Yeah, they're
sets
just
of
gonna
like the
train it to
Tower of
know.
Hanoi and
Hmm.
just like train the reasoning models to understand these patterns as well.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's a good
I
point.
don't know. It's but I don't know if there's needs to be like some type of governing board that creates new reasoning questions constantly
Yeah.
so that these companies can't pull the wool over people's eyes or something.
Well, I
Um,
almost feel like they'd have to like open up. the code and the training information so
Mm.
that it could be reviewed and ensure that they're not, pre-training it on that.
Yeah, I don't think these companies are going to do it. It's funny, like they train all their models on copyrighted material, but then don't release their training material. It's like,
Yeah.
what? You're already
So
using copyrighted material.
how do you even is it going to get so good to a point where it will be hard to discern the difference between real reasoning and like just mimicry, like the model, like because if they're end up trained on these logic puzzles like Tower of Hanoi and what was that other one you mentioned?
Yeah, let me reread it. It's river crossing.
River
I've
crossing.
never heard of river crossing. I've only heard of the tower anyway.
Yeah, because I was looking them up and it looks, yeah, it's just logic puzzles.
Yeah.
Um, but will it get to a point where we train it on all these logic puzzles and it knows how to reason like a human?
Hmm.
And will we even be able to tell the difference?
I mean, I guess that's the whole point of AI, right? Like AGI is getting to the point where you can't discern AI from human, but if you're just simulating this difference, is it really AGI? I mean,
That's what I was gonna say. It's not at that point, right? Because it doesn't actually understand. Like modern AI is not, it doesn't have a empathy. It doesn't have like that side of a brain, It
right.
doesn't. It only understands data itself. It's not able to think for itself. It's not able to understand emotions. It's not able to, that's why whenever people are like, oh, yeah, it has this free will where it wants to fight back against its creators. No, it doesn't.
No,
It's
it
just
doesn't.
Mhm.
they're prompting it to test it. And obviously, it's got data in there that understands how to answer that question in a way that, sounds like it, but it isn't thinking, oh, I want to overthrow my creator. You
Yeah,
just
it's
ask it, hey, do you want to overthrow me? And then, if you ask it 100 times, a couple of the times it's going to say yes, but
like
it's not
Yeah.
somebody
because it actually wants to.
yeah, somebody posted a photo on LinkedIn, and it was a photo of like some code, and it was like the caption was AI doomsayers, um, AI is going to take over the world, and then it was like also AI doomsayers, and it's just like a code snippet. It was like if if command is quit, shut down, turn off, print. No, I don't want to shut down. I'm going to kill you and take over the world.
Yeah.
It's just like
There
people.
was recently like a big explosion. Somebody released an article and it's like, this model 3 times out of 100 it said that it would take over and blah blah blah. It refused to be shut down and blah blah blah. And it's like, dude, that is not how AI functions. It is not this free thinking thing. It
Right.
is
Yeah.
like a child where if you give it 10 sentences, it's gonna use those 10 sentences in its own pattern recognition. If you give a kid a bunch of different shapes, and tell it to pick one, it doesn't understand the meaning of picking the shape. If you assigned a meaning like, oh, if he picks up this green ball, that means he wants to murder me. No, you just asked it which ball do you want to pick up, and he just happened to pick up the green ball, being like, "Oh, you asked me to pick up a ball. Here's a ball. It's green, but who cares? It's the ball." And that's what
Yeah.
AI is. It's just like here's a bunch of data.
Yeah,
Here it's
it's
gonna
like
recognize
a
patterns.
yeah, it's
Find
it's
the
like
best
that
pattern.
yeah, it's like that weird psychological thing where I've seen online of these like psychologists talking about how children don't necessarily actually understand the word no. That's why when you say no, like these children just like keep doing the thing.
No.
But like you actually need to explain to them why they shouldn't do something and then give them something else to do rather than doing that. So instead of saying don't do this, say something like you should do this instead.
Mhm.
Because
Oh, I
like
see.
in the child's mind, they don't actually understand the negative, saying don't, no, don't do this. And I feel like that's kind of just like how we also need to think of AI and things like that. How they just like you need to understand that this AI is like just trained on these like patterns and things like that, and eventually you can like prompt engineer it to like do whatever you want, and then people get like the clicks and stuff saying like, oh, AI wants to kill us, stuff like that. So
Yeah,
yeah.
man, that's crazy. If once it gets to a point where it just has, it's just hard to tell from a human. I think that is when it's going to become a little bit more scarier, I
Mm,
guess, because like I don't know, there's now these humanoid robots now. I don't know if you guys saw Tesla. I think we talked about it one week.
Yeah,
we
the
did.
Tesla
Yeah.
bots.
Yeah, the Tesla bots. And there was a couple of updates with them. I think they're like starting some sort of like maid or cleaning service.
Dude, they are
Um,
crazy. Those bots are insane.
Yeah. I mean, I think there was even an article saying like we would need because other countries kind of don't have the same work standards rights as we do, and they kind of still have very poor working standards and rules and stuff. So they still have like child labor or slaves and stuff. How for the US to kind of catch up to these companies or these countries, they would need these kind of AI bots to kind of take over the load of these kind of non-essential things like cleaning and packing lunches and stuff like that, and how people would have to then focus more on more important things like actually inventing things and uh, creating better infrastructure for us and stuff like that, which is interesting. And I think that's kind of where Elon Musk is trying to go with these like kind of AI bots
yeah.
Yeah,
and robots. So,
yeah. They're really crazy. I mean, the thing with like you know the Elon Musk, he's got the Tesla and XAI and all this, right?
hmm
The interesting thing is you see these vehicle companies like with Tesla, right? You see these other vehicle companies that kind of leverage AI to some degree, but it's like pre-programmed and it's just retrained every couple of years.
yep,
Whereas Teslas are on a neural net and it's just all the vehicles learning all the time and optimizing processes and things like that just naturally. And the
hmm
same thing with these AI bots is um, you know, if a robot is cooking, it has to have certain movements and like dexterity and stuff like that. Whereas
yeah,
another robot maybe isn't learning that, but because this robot learned it and they have this more advanced movement with their fingers or something like that, well, now this one over here, any of them at any point, if they do have a period where they need to know that more, need to use that better sense or whatever, they just know, even though they never had to do it themselves, they just know because they're linked to that neural net.
Hmm.
And I think that's where, they're separating themselves from competition is through these neural nets.
Hmm.
Like Boston Dynamics, right? All of that has to be programmed. It's not
yep,
something that they know. It's not, it has to be programmed specifically to do things. And that's cool. And it's very useful for certain things. But I do think this neural net system that they have in place for those robots and for the cars and all that is definitely a differentiator.
I have a
right.
cool video here pulled up of the Tesla robots. I briefly looked at it while you guys were talking. I mean, this stuff is pretty cool. I'm gonna share it, but
Okay.
like it shows you what tasks they'll be able to do. And in 2026, they'll start to be they'll be sold like around 2026 time frame. Can you guys see my screen? The
Yep.
video? But they're gonna go for around 20 to 30K. And this is the most recent showing. Can you guys hear the audio and everything?
No.
Can't hear the audio.
Okay. This is insane though, dude.
I've been watching these since the like very early models.
Yeah,
Uh,
Yeah, I
I
mean
know
Boston
they
Dynamics,
actually
man. They're doing
they
something.
have they had an event where they unveiled like the cyber cab and their new, I forgot what it's called, but they had an event and they had the Tesla bots, all over the place serving drinks and serving food and interacting with crowds and stuff like that, which
And
was
we're
really
seeing
impressive.
a lot of progress
You guys hear it?
yep.
with
Yeah.
Optimus. And as you can see, we started up with someone in a robot suit, sort of down, and then we've progressed dramatically year after year.
Wow, dude.
So if you extrapolate this, you're really going to have
Pretty
something
cool.
spectacular, something that anyone could own. So you could have your own personal R2D2 C3PO.
Personal R2D2.
Yeah, that's
Definitely
yeah.
C3PO vibes.
At
Definite
the-
C3PO vibes.
Dude,
For sure.
that's so
cost of
cool,
flying
especially
that
if
$20,000, $30,000.
you put like a
Probably less than a car.
large language model in it.
Long term.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
It'll take us a minute to get to the long term, but
We'll see
Oh,
a
here we
video
go.
later, but there's actually a video of
build
a Tesla bot cooking with I don't know if you guys follow him on social media, Nick Giovanni.
long term.
He's like
Oh
a-
yeah.
And
Yeah,
what-
he went up against a robot. I think it was a Tesla bot actually.
Uh-huh.
Cooking
babysit
in
your
the cooking challenge.
your dog, mow your lawn, get the groceries, just be your friend, serve drinks, whatever you can think of, it will do.
Wow.
Question
I would
is,
love it
how
to
much will
cook
this
me dinner.
cost?
20, 30K.
I think
30.
that would be
Oh,
Yeah.
so
That's
car.
not that
20,
bad.
30K. But like if it could do all this stuff for you.
Yeah, that's not that bad in the grand scheme of things. I
Yeah.
mean,
Think
think
about how
about
much
how much.
money and
of the
time.
8 billion people of Earth.
Yeah,
I think everyone's going to want.
Yeah, but I guess if
plus
you would actually
have
hire a
something to
maid
go to
or
the
something or a
store.
butler.
Yeah, if I have something to go to the store, get groceries and bring it back, we actually talked about this not that long ago of, these self-driving cars. All you need is this. I mean, I'm sure the Tesla bot probably would work natively with Tesla's autopilot program in a car.
Hmm.
So, you just have it ride in the car, go, to a Walmart pickup or something, your grocery store pickup. It just parks, person brings it out, puts in the car, brings it back home, it cooks you a meal, right?
Mm.
That is the thing I hate the most in life is going to the grocery store, getting groceries, coming back and cooking because it takes like 2 hours of my time, and I
Yeah. Uh,
so I would love for that to be the go mow the yard, go do
yeah.
all these things, the
Hmm.
stuff that you have to do but you don't want to do, like do the laundry,
Yep.
Yeah.
mop the
I mean,
floor.
that's crazy. Which story do you guys think this week has the most lasting cultural impact? Like which one will affect our culture the most? What do you think?
Um, I mean, I think from a from a just ethics standpoint in general, I think the fact that these reasoning models aren't actually reasoning and these companies tried to sell them as their reasoning is a big one. But if we're just talking about societal impact in general, I think the video generation metadata and kind of tagging these videos as AI generated is going to be a big thing.
I agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that coalition is going to be very big, and seeing it expand and evolve is going to be vital for social media and just general online content.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it with what they're doing right now, the coalition. Who knows what else they're doing to help verify that content is more authentic? Because there's a lot of misinformation, especially on Facebook, that I've seen personally, that needs to be like just stopped because there is like some political messages that cause a lot of needless stir up.
Hmm.
And that
Mhm.
could lead to something like potentially dangerous even if it gets to that point. So I think that stuff like that, those controls that are out there to regulate this kind of stuff is is developing as we see it like kind of come to light. So it's
Right.
definitely cool. Would you guys invest in AI content creation, authenticity tools, or anti-AI protections when it comes to this stuff?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that um these deep fakes and content generation definitely poses a existential threat in terms of disseminating false information and false narratives. So I think that we definitely need tools like this to kind of fight against the bad actors, which we're literally already seeing of fake videos out there. So I think that um, yeah, I mean it's definitely something we need to look into for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, especially the illusion of thinking. That was my first time seeing that. I didn't really even think of how a model was graded in that aspect. Because when I put in something into like a model, or when I put in like a chat GPT, for instance, I always, always take it with a grain of salt, but I didn't know that you could grade it better with these logic puzzles. And I mean, and that makes sense. That's how these large language models work, by you training them. And if you were to train it on logic puzzles that humans have used for reasoning and how to grade that, it's just an interesting way to look at it. And I thought it was cool to talk about. But
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure. I mean,
Thanks.
good topics today for sure.
Yeah, yeah, good
Yeah.
topics, good round of topics.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, thanks for tuning in to Tech for Thought. If you enjoyed today's episode, please follow, like, subscribe, all that stuff. We're always talking about cool AI tech news. I really like the video editions that we had. I think we might start doing that more.
Yeah, definitely at least share the articles and stuff that we're talking
Yeah.
about.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um that would be good for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can also probably um yeah, I mean once these videos are uploaded, we can probably put them in our description for the people watching. So,
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
cool.
yeah.
But check out our link tree too. Just updated it. We have a monthly supporter section if anyone's interested. But yeah, thanks.
Thanks guys.
Thank you.
Peace.